You know what? I have been doing this a long time, and I certainly know mediation inside and out. And I think I do a fairly decent job. But I've got to say, I can get carried away in mediations, and it's interesting that Audrey, in ways, really is the better mediator. She's the
Here
one
we go.
who is,
Here we go.
well, it's true. She's the one who can anchor it back with empathy with parties while I'm going on trying to whatever. And it's like she just brings it back to the heart of the matter.
I enjoy the opportunity to talk it through because I miss things. Carl
Yeah.
occasionally misses things, and we learn from each other. It's kind of constant on the job training, I think.
Um, when you ask how we work together, I think that having a partner, at least having this partner, helps. It keeps me humble. Every time I think I'm good at something and I'm working in a case, and then afterwards I say, "Boy, she's really tough on him, isn't she?" And Audrey will say, Did you see what he did?" And we are a check on one another, and it's an ongoing conversation. When there's a really difficult case and there's a difficult moment in mediation, it's like, I know Audrey's with me. She's got my back. I don't have to look at her. She reads it the same way. And it's like, it's that sense of knowing you've got a partner when something really gets difficult that's going to really be on the same wavelength with it. It's that just happens again and again for me, for us.
And I think we can kind of tell when one of us is running out of steam. There'll be, if I have the experience of working really intensely with the couple, um, and I take it through to its conclusion or to the best it can be, I'm exhausted. And I can just look at Carl and he knows exactly where to pick it up and move on from there. And I think vice versa. You know, sometimes in mediation you try things that don't go as well as you hoped. Well, you've got a partner there to try it another way. But I think mostly it's just if I had to do that for 2 whole hours by myself, I would be exhausted at the end of it or unable to pay as full intensive attention as I do. Oh, of course not, never, no.
Yeah.
Yes. um, I just want to say that people ask us that a lot, in fact. And I don't really see us using techniques per se with each other. And I would say that that goes for our clients too. I think that people think of mediator techniques as some sort of box of tricks and you're going to haul something out and use it on somebody. And I don't I don't see it that way. I do think that there are ways that being a mediator is internalized. It becomes part of you. And I've learned um, more patience than I had before, taking the time to listen more carefully than I have before. Um, but I don't think I use any techniques.
This question that always comes up about, oh, are there techniques? And, in training, people go home on the second or third night and they go and they try it out on their kids. And invariably, the kids say, "Will you cut that crap out?" But it's not techniques. The longer I do this, the more what I think I do is not some trick, gimmick, particular skill. It's drawing on whatever wisdom I have and inviting people, as Lincoln would put it, to really listen to their better angels instead of what Audrey calls the Greek chorus that's trying to get at people out there. And I think that's what makes a difference.
So do you use mediation strategies on me?
No,
Just checking.
no. You know, I, I, I know you've asked this question of folks before, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, I, I don't do that. You know what I think has carried over from, because we do an awful lot of divorce mediation. The key piece in mediation that parties have to come to understand is it's not just what you want. If this is going to work, somehow you've got to include what is important to the other person if this is going to work and resolve. And I think that as the core of what we do, that does carry over to the relationship. And it's not easy. It takes a long time, but I think it's about coming to see, yeah, there are things I want. And for this to work, it's got to include what you would like too.
When we start training people and we're in a role play, somebody inevitably will turn to me and say, how do I get them to do da da da? And I always say, as soon as you hear yourself saying that you want to try to get them to do something, you know you're on the wrong track.
We are part of ongoing consultation group. We have been in a group that started like 12 years ago, and 9 of us here in Maryland get together every single month for the third Wednesday morning, and we just talk cases. And I think that is a wonderful piece of learning quality control. We've all grown in that. But we also have our own little mini group right here.
You know, it's interesting that you were saying that you like to hang out with other mediators. Carl mentioned that we're in this consultation group, and we're in consultation group with these other folks who are in our same field. This is a fairly crowded mediation field where we are in Montgomery County and in Maryland. We're competitors, and we're all personal friends as well. And when it's not COVID time, we at least once a year or possibly twice get together with spouses and have a really great party. It's never boring. There's never any couple that's like any other couple that I've ever worked with in the 8 years that I've been working with Carl. Never boring. Sometimes distressing in that, you know, we worry sometimes with some of these difficult cases. Are we going to know what to do? And that's where the co-mediation comes in well, because after we finish a session, we can go, wow, now what are we going to do? And talk about it. But no, I think.
And we do have permission for pillow talk. So sometimes these conversations, unfortunately, occur at 3 in the morning.
Well, that's when I have my best ideas. And I see no reason why, when the idea is fresh, I shouldn't tell Carl about it right then and there.
What we say mediation is, in plain English, look, this is just a conversation, and we're here because some conversations are difficult to have without a little help. That's what we do.
You know, when we can meet with people in person, we meet with them in our home, in our living room. And I really miss inviting people into the kitchen while we make tea or coffee together and talk about, I don't know, cooking or spices or something about the architecture or whatever. It just is a whole other experience. And I'm grateful that we have Zoom technology so that we can work with clients who really need some help right now. But I am looking forward to being able to meet with people in person where you can feel that interpersonal energy and connection that you just can't get from looking at a screen. It's just different.
I don't know if you've ever came across or looked at our webpage, but our cover page is simply a table, kind of kitchen table with two coffee cups on it and a hand on the table. It's like for us, that's the metaphor for what this is. It's nothing fancy. In plain English, it's the chance to have a conversation. Um,
It helps take away that sense that the mediators are the professionals there to help you, pathetic clients who can't get it together. That we're all just human beings and we're all muddling through this human condition together. And that if there are things that go wrong, we acknowledge them. If there are things that are funny, we give them permission to laugh when we laugh. And I think it has to do with setting up a relationship. Yeah, we're there to help them get through this. And we do have some professional skill that we can bring to bear on it. But the most important thing is that we're human beings and that there are funny things that happen in life besides just the serious things.
I just listened to a podcast 2 nights ago on humor. And one of the researchers on this had pointed out, you know what? Most of the time we laugh, it's not because there's something that's funny. People laugh when they just greet each other and they say, "Hi, how you doing?" And you sort of half laugh as you do it. And that laugh is not only lubricating things, but it's a piece that you're joined with this other person. You're on the inside of things.
I can tell funny stories about Carl, which is he can fall asleep anywhere. I was going through pictures the other day. I have a picture of him sitting on a street curb in Montenegro asleep. Under a palm tree in the Caribbean, where all I could see when I looked for him is his knees sticking up. He's asleep on the ground. He once was at a conference and was tired, so he went into an unused conference room, went underneath that little curtain that they have
around tables,
around the conference table, so that people can't see if you're crossing your legs. Fell asleep there. And the poor person who was working in the hotel came and whisked the cloth away, and there was Carl asleep.
Oh my God.
She thought he was dead. So I've never met anybody like that before.
Early on in this relationship, I said, what did I say to you?
You said, I've always wanted to do the 5-day trek to Machu Picchu, which in my ignorance I had never heard of. So he said, will you do it with me? I said, sure.
That was my total bucket list. And we went down and we hiked the entire Machu Picchu, right on up to Dead Woman's Pass.
Which is named after me, I think.
Yeah, 13,000.
It was excruciating, but we both made it to the top. And I married him anyway, even though he got me into that. So,
you know, I am 3 weeks away from my 78th birthday. And what people say, well, don't you get tired of this? And I'm feeling of late like, oh my God, there's a whole lot more to learn here. There's a whole lot I don't know yet.
His secret is that he eats the most unhealthy diet that he could possibly eat, despite his co-mediators' efforts to force him to eat a lettuce leaf every once in a while.
You like tiramisu? Oh my God. You know, I got into this field from both an academic and then a clinical background. And I've been a therapist, licensed psychologist, marriage and family therapist for 10 years full time. And um, I take a lot of pride, if I'm honest, in being one of the non attorneys who are successful in this field. I want to hold myself out as that reminder this is a field that is not a subset of the bar. And this is a field where um, there's skills from a whole bunch of professions coming. And I know that I will get referrals from attorneys who choose us because they'll say, Carl, just do that magic you do. They don't know what it is, but they're looking for someone who's responding to people uh, humanly and personally. And I I think that's one of the the concerns here for the future. It's like the bar just happens to be as strong as it is, and even the ADR section with all the good things it's do, that we keep that balance. That there we're a multitude of disciplines doing this, and that's important.
He's an academic and he can't help it. And he will talk to people occasionally, not often, but occasionally will talk to them about theory or research, or he will use terms that they don't understand. And I see them kind of looking perplexed. And I will just, it becomes a joke. You know, we both start laughing. I said, what Carl is trying to say is, and put it into, plain English. And they're like, oh,
Something I have gotten more and more interested in is using poetry with clients. And I like poetry myself, but I found some clients, especially ones who are in really a difficult place, sometimes the poems really help. And I was just looking for that. I don't know, Colin, whether you know John O'Donohue, but he um he is somebody who wrote a book on blessing called "To Bless the Space Between Us." And I've had clients where it really, as they were ending the mediation, it was really still raw for them, and it was a painful separation. And I had pulled out from just a little piece from John O'Donohue in which he says, love can seldom end clean, for all the tissue is torn. And then in a little different place, he says, when the gentleness between you hardens and you fall out of your belonging with each other, may the depths you've reached hold you still. Now's the time for one of you to be gracious, to allow a kindness beyond thought and hurt, to reach out with sure hands. Um, and I, when we've done this, you see folks just tear up. And to me, that's where it should be, that there's really a grief here in separating. Audrey will often say, I talk too much. And then she'll say to clients, what he's trying to say is, and so in lieu of that, I just find the poetry just does indeed, just does touch people in their vulnerable place. and that's what we're trying to do.